I made a career change. Was in the entertainment business for 10 years, got out of that, gave my life to Christ. Didn't know what I was going to do, walked out in faith. When I seen this advertisement for foreclosure seminar. Went to that seminar, bought all the books and tapes, and just got engrossed in it. But just like anything else, I mean, I got frauded by the wholesaler, which was also a mortgage guy. But anyway, to make a long story short, I went 13 months without making a nickel, about to lose everything I had, 100 grand in debt in 30 days from bankruptcy. I sold my first house. Well, it gave me some liquidity, even though I lost a lot of money on those 3 deals. So I said to myself, well, I mean, I can't do this fix and flip stuff anymore. I've got to make some quick cash. So the easiest way to make cash is wholesaling. Everybody that doesn't know what wholesaling is, okay, you find a house for 100 and you flip it to another investor for 110. So I did that, and it was just a bug. And at that year, I finished off with...
Hey everybody, welcome to Putting the Real in Real Estate. My name is Art Wood, your host, your favorite mortgage guy on the planet. If you didn't know, just ask me. And I've got a good friend of mine that I'm super excited about, Mike Cherwenka. And I'm going to mess that up. I'm going to call you Chewbacca. Have you ever been called Chewbacca before? There you go.
Do I hit Art now?
Yeah, go ahead. I had to throw that in quick because some folks...
Cherwenka.
Sure.
Like Sonny and Cher.
Cherwenka. Yeah. All right. Yeah. Well, there you go. Thank you for being here, first and foremost.
Thanks for having me.
Absolutely. When we started doing this, it was about realtors and about making folks feel not alone in the real estate world. And I was going to do just realtors. But then as we got in, we've done a commercial realtor, which was kind of interesting for us. Your story, through thick and thin, through everything else, I just thought it'd be great to have you on.
Oh, good. Well, hopefully the viewers get something out of it.
All right. Well, so tell us what you do now. We'll go back to the backstory now, but company, what your role is, all the things.
Sure.
Family.
We'll go to my website, so you see my properties on there.
Yep.
But basically, my day in and day out, I'm a builder. Do Lake Loss over in Lake Lanier. Still do my fix and flips. Always got a half a dozen going. And I represent a half a dozen investors that rely on me for product. And then they're mentees, so I totally mentored them through the whole entire process, the whole fix and flip construction, A to Z type of thing, and then I sell it on the back end.
So explain that for the viewer. How do you work for the investors? What are you doing for them?
Good question. So if you go into this business blind, you're going to get slaughtered. Been doing this 30 years. I've probably had close to 3,000 transactions. So I could walk into any neighborhood and really have a gauge on what that house is going to sell for and what I need to buy it for. And my repair estimates would be give or take 5%.
Okay.
And just put that into a contingency factor. Okay. A lot of investors ask me to go ahead and list their properties because I'm a licensed agent. And I don't do that because I got to stamp my name on it. And if it's a Mickey Mouse rehab and it's not level 10 or HGTV product, I don't want to list your property.
Yeah.
Because it's going to sit. I've never met a seller that thought their house wasn't worth more than what it really was.
Now, 2020 and 2021 was ridiculous. It's like, hey, I want to list it for 600, they get 750.
Right.
That was crazy.
Right, and that was a good time to unload any of your rentals.
Yeah.
So everybody got paid back then.
I had tenants they're now tenants that they're like, hey, I'm getting kicked out of my house because they want to sell.
Right.
We get kicked out. Yeah. Right. So that was difficult. So anyway, keep going. So you're dealing with people that do what you do, but you're charging a contingency fee.
No, I don't charge any fee. I mean, I give a lot of service for what I really get paid. I mean, of course, I make my money on the buy. I mean, I get my real estate commission on it, or if I buy something off market, then I put my wholesale fee on it.
All right.
And then on the back end, I sell it to them for only 2%. So, and every Thursdays are my field days. I'll visit their properties, tell them what they should and shouldn't do, and blah, blah, blah. And, they're always asking me for a vendor. You got a good HVAC guy, cabinet guy, or whatnot. So if you're trying to get into the fix and flip business and you see HDTV and all these people on there, trust me, these people, half of them go broke.
Yeah.
I know people have been on the show. My wife and I could have been on the show, but all the time commitment and what you got paid per episode, the math doesn't make any sense.
No, it's probably more of an ego thing than anything else.
Everything's ego.
Yeah. True story.
That's why you got this podcast.
That's true. That's exactly right. Yes. If my wife's watching, she knows all about it.
And there's nothing wrong with it.
I don't know. Sorry, we got on ego. You wanna make profit on everything. You got to make a little bit of profit.
Not to dish the HTV stuff, but when you go on that show, you got to have products. And I turned my invitation to somebody else that did it.
Okay.
And the dude almost went belly up because he had to have 4 products there. So he's overpaying for prices. He's putting all this bling on that doesn't support the neighborhood values. And at the end of the day, when they give you the numbers on the screen, those aren't the real numbers.
No, they're not.
There's so many more expenses that you have in there. But in any event, it shows you how to put something together in today's market with the bells and whistles that sells now. So the black and white theme, me and my wife were the first ones that come out with that 15 years ago.
Okay.
Here in Atlanta. And those houses just flew off the shelf. Now we don't do black and white anymore. People are tired of it. Actually, I'm tired of it.
Yeah. Also, some of the open floor plans are becoming less open. I think is what I'm hearing too, is becoming less desirable to be able to look from one side of the house to the other side of the house. I still like it, but then again, I'm not very hip.
Sometimes it's not cost effective because you're blowing out a wall. Now you got to put an LVP header up there. All that gets extremely expensive.
Yeah.
And then, you really need a structural engineer by code to go ahead and do that. And it's really not necessary. So now, instead of doing that big open concept, because really your furniture doesn't fit in there like it should.
And where to put it? You normally put it up against the wall or something.
Right.
Yeah.
So now we just do the picture frames where we start at 40 inches off the ground and go to 10 inches to ceiling. Yeah. And that way you could see through, but each room still has its own identity.
So how many properties would you say you flip a year in a normal 2023 through 26, 2023 to 2026?
Probably do one a week.
Okay. That's what I'd love to get into. I've done some flips and I've gotten murdered. I only got murdered in one where I bought it and an agent told me this was a great property. So I have a trust issue. I trust too much. And
you and me are in the same camp.
And we bought for $200,000, 205, I think it was in Smyrna. And the first rain, it wasn't even that big a rain. Water 3 feet up the walls. It was in a flood zone, and the agent tells me, he's like, "Yeah, you wouldn't believe it, but I was searching, and it actually got turned into a flood zone while I was on the computer." I'm like, "You're full of crap." So I kept that for 2 years. I actually, as a driver in the garage,
100-year floodplain turned into a floodplain in 10 minutes.
God. I mean, I'm telling you, and the county knew all about it, and so I ended up selling it to a wholesaler.
Okay.
After 2 years, I had renovated. I had closed off the drive under garage. I had tenants in there. I actually had an agent that was a tenant that her car was flooded and totaled. Her and her boyfriend's car were whatever. So then the drive under, I put these huge 4-foot planters, and so nobody could drive down there. And the tenants once shot me a picture. I mean, the planters were this tall, and the water was up there, whatever. Man. So I lost $50,000 on that one, and I was happy to only lose $50,000.
Yeah, that was a tough seminar, wasn't it?
It was an expensive seminar, but then and really the litmus test is my wife, because I'll flip one. I probably flipped 6 or 7 houses in the last 7 to 10 years. But the other one,
see, there's no reason you can't do 4 a year.
No, there's not. Except I just don't put the time into it.
Right.
Well,
I mean, I got room for 2 more investors, and then I'm tapped out with time.
Yeah.
So if you want to do a couple, let me know.
Oh, we're making money right here. We'll talk about it. So tell me this. By the way, he is their first published author to have on the show, the art of becoming a multimillionaire. I had heard a little bit about your story, but way back when, tell us what the road to real estate looked like.
Dang, that was a bumpy road. I made a career change.
Okay.
Was in the entertainment business for 10 years, got out of that, gave my life to Christ. Didn't know what I was going to do, walked out in faith. My daughter was 2 at the time. Sunday paper all over the living room, was picking it up, and I seen this advertisement for foreclosure seminar.
Okay.
So I went ahead and went to that seminar, bought all the books and tapes, and just got engrossed in it. So any seminar, that came through town, I went to, joined the Georgia RIA and Atlanta RIA Investors Associations, all that kind of stuff. So if you weren't talking real estate, I wasn't talking to you at that time. I was totally focused.
Yep. Deep dive.
Yeah. So, I figured, hey, this is going to take off and I'm going to make all this money and all this kind of thing. Made a sacrifice from, being a public eye, and now I'm doing this and blah, blah, blah. But just like anything else, I got frauded by the wholesaler, which was also a mortgage guy that was doing hard money and wholesaling all in the same hat.
Okay.
So he told, he said.
And this was late 90s, right?
So this was, for my first deal, I think it was May or June of 96.
Okay.
He said, well, just go buy the houses and do a little bit of work and we'll get you some more money, because the appraisal didn't come in where it was supposed to come in.
Okay.
So I said, all right. I just thought I trust him because, he was a licensed mortgage broker. And
don't trust licensed mortgage guys.
So in any event, anything that could go wrong did go wrong. Repairs were twice as much. Contractors wanting money up front, and then you don't see them.
Yep.
All the stuff you hear day in and day out in this industry. So, I've learned how to be an expert with money management. It's all about how you manage your money.
Yep.
Good Lord gave me the ability to take $1, make it into $2.
Yep.
But anyway, to make a long story short, I went 13 months without making a nickel, about to lose everything I had, 100 grand in debt, in 30 days from bankruptcy, until I sold my first house. And I sold the other two March 31st of 97.
All right.
So that
got you out of debt.
Well, it gave me some liquidity, even though I lost a lot of money on those 3 deals.
Yeah.
So I said to myself, well, I can't do this fix and flip stuff anymore. I've got to make some quick cash.
Mm-hmm.
So the easiest way to make cash is wholesaling. Everybody that doesn't know what wholesaling is, okay, you find a house for 100 and you flip it to another investor for 110.
Yep.
So it is super easy.
Without buying the house.
You do a simultaneous closing. So we call it ABBC,
Yep.
where you would use their money to fund your deal and you would make the change in the middle. You would have a transaction fee to pay, closing costs, realtor, not all that kind of stuff. Or you can do an assignment on it. But if you do an assignment, then they know what you're making on it.
Yeah.
And it's not always a good look.
Yep.
To some people.
Yeah, they made 60 grand on my
oh no.
my deal, which is fine. I was so happy to just hold it as 50.
So you could have broke even.
I could have broken even.
Yeah.
Oh well, live and learn.
Yeah. So my first wholesaling deal, I don't even have $5 to put down for the earnest money.
All right.
So I borrowed that from the guy, and I told him I'd split the profits with him. So
over just splitting the earnest money. That's it.
Just giving me the earnest. I didn't have 500. And this was this little shotgun house on Martin Street over in the Lakewood area that's been there forever and ever. And back in those days, there was no such thing as a computer and going technology information.
Yep.
Realtor lady at work was giving me those big books that you used to comb through, and all that is outdated information.
Old, yeah.
So I wholesale probably the worst product that you could probably ever wholesale. That was my first wholesale deal. I make $6 grand on it.
All right.
Gave him 3. I said 3.
This is the best deal he ever made.
Yeah. And my buyers list, I was up all night long just with the fax machine feeding one in after another. There was no such thing as constant contact or none of that stuff out there. So I did that, and it was just a bug. And at that year, I finished off with 77 wholesale deals.
Okay.
And for the next 10 years, I did 100 plus.
Okay. Each year.
Yeah.
All right.
So
how do you, and this is for the viewing public and me, but how do you go about finding the deals also?
So that's $1 million question. There's just a million ways to find them, sending out letters, phone calls, abandoned houses. Back then, once I started doing volume and people knew that I did what I said I was going to do and close on these, and then I had enough capital to pay cash just in case it didn't close, because your reputation is everything in this business, that a lot of these REO agents were just feeding me tapes of properties.
Especially in like 08.
Yeah, I said, no, this was in 97, 98, 99. Yeah. Right. Those were the years from Manna.
All right.
It was just like banking.
All right.
And then the Atlanta area, I mean, they were strong advocates of what I did, and they would promote all my properties to all their newbies.
Yeah.
So, I mean, it was just,
That was easy.
it was, well, I don't know if it was easy, but I mean, I worked my 60, 70 hours a week,
Yeah.
don't get me wrong. And then I had all my rehabs going, and I started a rental portfolio and all that kind of stuff. But yeah, the whole wholesaling deal is where I got my initial capital from.
Okay. Are you doing any of that anymore? The wholesaling side?
Yeah.
Okay. Well, you're doing so much, and I'm going to get confused. So then you start with wholesaling, and then you move from wholesaling to what? You bought rental properties.
So I probably had about 90 doors, and I bought all these at used discounts. And you being in the mortgage business, I think 3 or 4 years later, I refinanced all of them out. I walked away from the table with a check of over a 7-digit check. And there was no tax consequence because it's a cash out.
Right. Yep.
So I'm not doing a mortgage on it. And then that just allowed me to go crazy. And then I got into new construction. I was building $1 million houses at Marina Bay in Gainesville. I built the townhouses across the street from the Mall of Georgia. What else did I have going on? All sorts of stuff. And there's
the wholesaling, fix and flip, rental portfolio. You still have the rental portfolio?
No, I got rid of it. I went through a foreclosure in the '08 crash. So, I mean, it was taking me about $80-some thousand to get through the month just with all my interest payments on all my notes. And I couldn't sustain that. I mean, I tried to sustain it because, you know, with my beliefs, I didn't believe in bankruptcy. I think that was the wrong thing to do. And another reason is that I had this $1.2 million annuity that every asset protection attorney in Atlanta says you're protected through a bankruptcy because, you know, I'm not employed, so it's a self-directed IRA. Right? After 5 years of fighting the court systems, guess who the judge gave that to?
Not you.
Right. So you talk about injustice. This company called Res Gold bought all the debt from Haven Bank, where I had most of my loans from. Bought it pennies on the dollars, and then they came after me for the deficiencies. So I'm talking like $4 million.
Good God.
Right. So I had to deal with this. And I'm thinking, how can this possibly be legal? So I had to deal with that. I mean, that was some very, very, very dark times. I mean, you're living being 10 feet tall and bulletproof, and then you don't know if you could buy a hamburger or a steak today, you know?
You know, I've talked about it a lot, like in 2020, in 2008, I got the business in 2005. So I didn't have chance to really go through the refi, the refi boom of 2003 and all that stuff. I didn't get a chance to elevate my income before it was, I in 2006, I made $100,000, over $100,000 for the first time in my life. And then 2007, I made more, but it was all in the first 6 months. And then it just crashed and it was difficult. I mean, but somebody's making really good money in every type of economy. Like in 2020 and 2021, people were hurting. There were a lot of people. I had a lot of friends hurting that were in the entertainment industry, that were in hotels.
Right, the whole COVID thing.
That's right, the COVID thing. And I was making money hand over fist.
Right.
And I felt guilty. So
yeah, you got CEOs working at Home Depot.
Just some weird stuff. Right. So I think to your point, God doesn't give you more you can't handle. It doesn't feel that way. I'm sure when you go through 2008, they come out not bulletproof, but it makes you a little more human and make you appreciate a little bit more when you get it again.
Yeah, what's that old saying?
There's a lot of old sayings. Which one are you talking about?
Right. What doesn't kill you makes you stronger. Or
you ought to make God laugh telling your plan.
Yeah.
So you went through all of that, and how do and obviously you're doing similar stuff to what you were doing, but you come out on the other end. What was the start of coming out on the other end? I guess just not stopping.
Yeah, good question. Once I went through that bankruptcy, I said, hey, man, I'm going to appeal this unless you guys give me $100,000 and I'll pay you back in 5 years, XYZ. I need some operating cash. and they actually bought into it.
All right.
Yeah.
All right.
They were getting.
And what year was that, do you think?
That was 13 is when I finally filed.
Okay. So you had a rough 5 years.
Yeah, I mean, it was horrible, very horrible.
All right, so you got $100,000,
But I had to pay it back.
but you had to pay it back, but that was what you used the seed money to start wholesaling again in a whole new market, because everybody was in it. Everybody was flipping in 08, 09, right?
Well, yeah, before the crash, everybody's money was in real estate.
Yeah.
So when the crash got over and things started rebounding, and then all of a sudden you had more and more of these seminars coming through town, and anybody that has 50 cents to their name, they think the best way I can get rich is through wholesaling, which technically is the truth, because you are buying something for one price and selling it for another, and you don't have any risk in the deal.
Right. Well, what I think is, I think anybody that reads your book, talks to you, I mean, your story is unique to you, but anytime I hear somebody that doesn't let their failures define them, that they can crawl back up by their bootstraps and become successful again. I've never really had to go through that, and I'm really fortunate that I haven't had to go through that, because I don't know that I would be I'd like to think I was that strong, but if you had to give a piece of advice to, now remember, we're not talking about retail real estate here. This is wholesaling. This is fix and flip. What would be the first piece of advice you tell somebody that wants to get into the wholesale fix and flip business?
Educate yourself. You really have to know what you're doing, and it's really different and difficult to get into fix and flip, because you're only as good as your contractor.
That's true.
You know, just like new construction, you're only as good as your subs.
Yep.
End of story.
Yep.
If you don't have a good team with you that's industry average or better with pricing, you're not going to make money.
Yep.
And you got to manage these people, and there's a certain science to managing these people.
Yep.
There really is. And I've been fortunate. I've had contractors with me for 30 years.
Yeah.
My assistant's been working for me for 30 years. So that speaks volumes on how you relate and communicate with people. You know, you got to be a problem solver. You just can't end relationships just because you have a disagreement with somebody.
That's right.
And people, you know, like it says in the Bible, pride is the fall of every man.
Yep.
And it really is. God hates pride. And I guarantee you, a prideful person will fall. Not only will nobody like you,
right.
because you're a jackwagon. So you got to humble yourself and be willing to learn. But going to your question, how to get started in this business, it's best to just, if you can get a mentor or something like that, do that. I mean, I'm a strong advocate of rental properties. Once you got your finances established, because with inflation going the way it's at, the only people who are going to be rich 10 years from now are people that own assets.
Yeah, 100%.
You know, if you're an hourly person or a wage person and you don't have any assets or money in the stock market or something like that, I'm sorry, but it's going to be challenging for you.
Oh, it will be. It will be. I mean, and the people that live, I mean, I get to see them a lot, paycheck to paycheck. And it's like, hey, I make $100,000, so I need a $600,000 house. I went, no, you don't. You just get your $300,000 house. So, and I think even to the retail agents out there, we've preached this on the podcast, everything else, the value of a good team.
Right.
You know,
right.
And
you got to treat your team right.
You treat them right. You
pay them right. You know.
Yeah. That's all. And we've had some technical difficulties on this, so we hope we pulled it off okay. But we may have to have Cherwenka part 2 and dive into more of the book, because there's, you know, I think you probably have got more than 30 minutes worth of material to share that you've been through, that everybody has, and
right.
You know, for me. And we'll talk more when we get done with this, but you know, I'm like, all right, well, I've got the capital, and now I just need the systems to say, all right, I want to do one a month, you know?
Right. Everything is about systems. I mean, it's good to have faith. You got to have faith, because it's a belief system that the end goal is in sight and reachable.
Yeah.
But you have to get a system to know how to get from A to B, and it's really
to C.
Yeah,
D, right?
It's not going to happen overnight.
Right.
And I think that's my big give back right now. Because I've got 4 guys that I've made extremely successful in this business. And I take great pride in that.
Yeah.
You know, I
100%.
changed the lives of 4 people.
Yep.
And that's my 3:00 meeting with Ron over here.
Right.
Was, you know, getting him another house.
Okay.
And just love to see these guys be successful.
You know, it's interesting, you know, because we share the same faith. One of my dad was one of the most Christian men that, you know, that I've ever, just a great dude and such a philanthropist and everything else. But I remember when I was as a worship leader, you know, he's like, you know what, I've done a lot of good things, but I don't know that I've ever brought anybody to Christ. You know, like truly had it, whatever. And that was kind of one of my gifts, was to bringing people to church. Now I was up there on stage singing, I was like, come join us, come join us, come join us. But that, you know, at the end of the day, you'd
be a good evangelist.
I just let me talk, man. Just let me talk. But yes, it's leaving people better off after you've experienced this with a smile, with gratitude, with being humble. It's great. So we will do this again, but I really appreciate you.
You got it. Enjoy it.
Absolutely. Take care. I enjoyed having you on Putting the Real in Real Estate, and we'll get these technical glitches fixed for next time. Take care.